Hey everybody, my name is Joey. I want to welcome you to another episode of Leadership in Tough Places. We do this podcast to help anybody who's leading ministry or they are doing something in a leadership realm in a difficult or challenging place, climate, environment. And so we've got a lot of episodes. We think from our experience, they're helpful. Today, I'm actually going to begin a 4-part podcast series, and I'm calling it Mobile Mania. Mobile Mania, the art of making mobile church great. And so you're going to see, I'm going to break it up into 2. So the first 2 are going to be about choosing a venue, and then the next 2 really are about making that venue and then making mobile church great. So I'm going to take us back a little bit to when we were choosing our first venue at the Block Church. We started our church. When you watch this, it'll have been almost 10 years as a church. And so here's how we ended up starting. We end up in this building. It was, I think, an Episcopal church, something like that. Maybe it was a Methodist, who knows? And it had a name, Old Brick. I mean, the church was over 100 years old, built in the 1800s. And we had found these people, and their church was 10 people. 10 people. And they were meeting in the back, not even the fellowship hall, the Sunday school classroom. And they're meeting back there, and so they let us on Sunday nights. I met the pastor through a series of events. They let us on Sunday nights come during our pre-launch phase. We ate dinner there, and then we had fake church in there, okay? It was just the launch team, and I'm preaching to 10 people, and it was church. I'm just kidding. 2 or 3 are gathered. God bless. Okay. And so anyway, we're there, and it felt like things were going well. The people were nice. We had sat with them a couple times, all older. I mean, when I tell you these 10 people, most of them were 80, 90 years old. So they had no mortgage. The building was needing repairs and different things. But basically, we kept selling, hey, we can help. And, maybe we can cover your utilities and support it. Maybe we can just move in here. And we had gotten them. We were there for 3 months building our team in this neighborhood. And we had gotten them pretty convinced that we were going to assume their fellowship hall for kids, the upstairs in this beautiful auditorium, which didn't have air conditioning. And so we were pretty excited. We're like, we're not going to have to do mobile church. And we're going to maybe office out of here. There was nobody in the office, but me. And we were thrilled. And they said yes. They said yes in principle. Until the day that we came to sign some sort of contract. And we had a lawyer who's been with us the whole time, serving for free. And he came there with a contract. We were so nice. We all sat around. We shared, some pastries and coffee. And we just thought it was going to be very simple. Write this little agreement. We were going to be there. We were starting our church a few months later and feeling good. And they said, hey, formality is that you just need to leave the room, and then we'll make an official vote. And then, we'll move forward. So I leave the room, and I'm sitting twiddling my thumbs, feeling good. And this was the one of the many early losses where hair started to go and gray started to enter. And they came out, and to my shock, they said, no, we don't want to do it. And man, the deep anger that welled up inside of me. We went back in to try to talk to them, and our lawyer at the time, I'll never forget it. This is so good. He slammed his laptop and he said, you people are going to be dead in a year. Our lawyer's amazing. And he was so mad. He's like, why aren't you going to help these kids out? All you guys want to do, and he knew what they were doing. All you guys want to do is sell this building to a developer and go on a cruise. And sure enough, about a year or so later, these 10 people sold the building, and I think they somehow took the money and ran. No proof, but I know that's what they did. So it began our journey of going, well, we're going to have to be mobile. And so up against the gun, we end up, and it's a longer story, but we end up finding our first location, Richmond Hall. In this neighborhood of the city called Port Richmond, in a section called the River Wards, right up against the Delaware River. And it's in this neighborhood. There's no parking, but there's a lot of houses, and really we were out of options. So the Spirit chose it. We didn't choose it. Okay. So, what I want to do right now is I actually want to answer 5 questions. So this episode, I'm going to answer 5 questions: who, what, where, when, why. Next episode, I'm going to talk about non-negotiables for venues. Okay, then 3 and 4, we'll talk about how to make them great, but really important. So we end up at this venue, and these are the things that I started to think about. And 10 years later, I can formulate these thoughts, and this is how we move forward with venues. And some of our team at this table, I want us to also be thinking about this as we obviously are securing ourselves. We've bought buildings now, but we know that there's still going to be mobile locations in the future if we're going to keep our ministry. Now, I want to say this before I answer these questions. And I all the time, and this is why I'm doing this, I get questions from guys all over the country. How do you do mobile church? How do you do it well? You're in the city, how do you do mobile church? All the time. And so I feel like I need to answer this. I don't think mobile church is dead, but I think that mobile church, the way we did it, is dying. People after COVID have way less energy, and it's way more challenging to bump in at 4 or 5 a.m. And everybody has the Sunday scaries. Work on Monday, and it's like, why? You work from home anyway, basically. So I think it's changing. And so what we have always done and what we are trying to do is mitigate the pain points of mobile, which I think we'll get into in some of our non-negotiables. But I want to answer 5 questions right now. Here's the first part. Part 1, Mobile Mania, the art of making mobile church great. Number 1, here's a question you can ask. Who here can I bless? Okay, so when you're choosing a neighborhood, when you're choosing a venue, particularly, who here in this venue, who here in this vicinity can I bless? And it's an important question to ask, because the more that you're a blessing, the more favor you're going to get from the community or from those individuals. And so when we entered into this agreement with Richmond Hall, they had a church in it previously, and it did not go well. The church previously that was in there brought a dog in. Why? I don't know. The dog bit one of their employees. They asked us if we would ever bring a dog in. I assured them no, we would never bring a dog to church. We love dogs. We're not sure all dogs go to heaven. We're not going to waste our time. So, but what we thought about early on, how can we be a blessing to them? Can we do anything for this venue that would encourage them? Could we do anything for these owners that would make them like us more? Can we do anything that would win favor with them? They were Italian people, and I just learned, and I knew early on, I married an Italian girl. I learned early on the best way to work with these people is to sit down and have a meal with them. If you buy them food or if you let them cook for you, I mean, whatever it is, I sat down, they want to argue about everything for no reason, okay? And really, they want to feel like, hey, they can kiss you on the cheek. They didn't love contracts. They wanted to shake hands. Okay, a lot of stuff that's uncomfortable, but part of being a blessing is building relationship. I started to make myself available. Do you go to your home, pray over the owner? His mother was in the hospital. He didn't go to our church. Went to his house, prayed over mom. Went to the hospital, prayed over his mother. There's a lot of different things. One of the other things we did is the other venue or the other church didn't pay rent on time ever, and they were behind. And so I made a commitment early on. It was a huge investment. How can we be a blessing? I'm going to prove to you that we're for real. We paid 6 months up front. Who can you bless while you're here? Number 2, what's already there that you can use? what is already here that you can use? And so this is twofold. In that neighborhood, the first thing that I noticed was a playground and a basketball court. So it's not just the venue that helps make your church successful, but it can be what's around the venue. There was a library and a park across the street. So what did we do? We leveraged the park, we leveraged the playground. We were in both places constantly, and that's even before we got in the building. You got to get people in the building. So before you get people in the building, you have to go to what's around the building. And so that's what we did. We playing ball with kids. We're paying for people's ice cream. With the ice cream truck, we're hanging out. You know, what's here? I can use the playground. I can use the park. And we did. Then when you went into the venue, I had to think about this. Okay, there's already a stage in the venue, so I don't have to build a stage. Well, you know, you got to think about how challenging it is to do mobile staging. Already a stage, that made me feel better. There was already pretty curtains in there. I'm just going to use what's there. I'm not going to throw that up. I'm going to play into our experience. There was chandeliers. And so we had to go, you know what? Our experience and our feel, it's going to be modern, but we are going to leverage the wedding vibe and make it beautiful and just play into the chandeliers that are already here. And so there were a lot of things about the venue, what's already here. And we're going to talk about on-site storage, but there were some areas that I said, you know what? We could leverage some of this storage. And I'm going to talk about this in the next episode, but I never let that venue owner know, because he wasn't churched. I never let him know that people drive trailers anywhere. He had no idea. And so I wasn't going to give him that idea. Do you understand? What's here that I can use? Number 3, where is my reach? Where is my reach? Okay? And what I mean by that is I observed, I got playground, I have park, but I also have these houses. And what neighborhood am I in? What's around me? Where is my reach? How much time should I spend on how many neighborhoods I should go out? And it's different in each environment. If you're in the suburbs, you can probably go out 30 minutes. If you're in the city, you can probably go out 5 minutes. But I had to determine where my reach was. And in my negotiation, and in my understanding of what we could afford, I had to determine that based on where we were. I even tried to prove to the venue owner of basically our neighborhood demographics, even in what we could pay based on what sort of giving might come in. All of these things I'm thinking about, where is my reach? What am I going for? Where am I sending mailers out, which people don't do anymore? Or where is my ads going? And where can I reach? And a lot of that is based on how many seats are in here? How much can I room? I don't have parking. So, what am I trying to accomplish? Am I going to focus right on this neighborhood? Am I going to get walkers? You have to really understand where your reach is and not try to go outside of that and expend unnecessary funds and time and energy. I've got the park. I've got the playground. I've got 60,000 people in this zip code. Let's go reach these people. Number 4, when do I run out of time? And this is a really important question that I think a lot of guys or gals don't ask when they're doing mobile. Short-sighted. So you've got this massive, crazy setup. But what is that going to do to the volunteers? When do I run out of time here? Like, if I'm going to invest so much money, but they're only giving me a 6 months or a year contract, is that a wise decision? So what I try to do is I tried to leverage. I went in and I asked for 3 years early on. And we negotiated and, whatever, but I felt like I needed longevity to get this thing off the ground. You don't always get that. I negotiated in that first venue. And honestly, that became our play every other venue we went. We tried to start with 3 years. So anyway, when will I run out of time? So I knew if I had 2 or 3 years, I could build something, I could establish something. And then going back to volunteer energy How much emphasis and setup am I willing to have? What kind of things can I cut out? Because I've got the venue time that I could run out of, and I've got the people energy time that I could run out of. Both of those play a factor, and you have to understand what you're working with. Number 5, why will people come? Why will people come? This really has a few factors, okay? Your mission is really important. The block church, reviving every block. We felt like we had a good mission that connected to our city. We felt like we had a relatively good brand. It's gotten better as time has gone on. But we felt like this mission is compelling. So that's first and foremost. If your mission stinks and your brand is ugly and all of those different things, you're going to have a challenge. But when we're talking about venues specifically, why will people come is a really important question. Like, it's not just about what you do. It's about visibility. It's about accessibility. It's about availability. All of those different things, you have to think through, why will people come? Obviously, if those who are going to go to church have a desire to be in the house of the Lord, or are compelled or invited. But really, why are they coming to that venue? I think it's important to understand, are people aware of this venue? Do they see it when they're passing, when they're going to work? Like, it's good to choose places that are landmarks or around landmarks. You can't always do it, but you can ask that question, why will people come here? Are they aware of it already? And we had a lot of that early on. Yes, I know that catering hall. Yes, I got married there. Yes, my aunt in 1963 had her baby shower there, you know? It's like, why? Oh, okay, it triggers nostalgia. It triggers remembrance, all those different things. All right, so let me recap. Mobile Mania, the art of making church great. This is part 1. Who here in or around this venue can I bless? Another little thing, if you're talking about schools, man, principals, right? I mean, you get it. Who can I bless? Number 2, what's here already that I can use? Playgrounds, parks, stages, things that I can leverage. Number 3, where is my reach? I got to nail that down. I got to know who I'm going after. Number 4, when do I run out of time? That's volunteer time. That's venue time. And 5, why will people come? Can they find you? Do they know about this? That's part 1, Mobile Mania.